Hello Cancer and welcome to your monthly forecast. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. We're going to be looking at the month of November here. You can always use my readings for Sun, Rising, Moon, and Venus, and you can either watch them ahead of the month or as the month is unfolding. In just a few moments, we're going to be taking a look at the Celtic Cross, but I like to begin first with messages that come straight from Source and from Spirit. And today, as I was waking up in the morning, I had a dream about me teaching you about a moth. It was very clear that we needed to talk about it. And moths are great because they comprise multiple levels of development. So let's walk through that and also kind of convey how this is going to connect with you. So the first piece is to take your time and absorb. When we think of really what the caterpillar does for the first part of its life, it just gets out there and it consumes as much energy as possible so it can get through that transformation phase. In the human experience, this is connected like to the Eight of Pentacles, where we absorb knowledge, where we work on ourselves and develop a part of our skill set, or just basically something in our own strength that we know that we're going to need down the line. So first step, and maybe even the first part of the month, is going to be about that exploration, that knowledge absorption, and also just taking your time, not rushing, okay? But do allow yourself a chance to see what's out there, because caterpillars definitely make their way out into the world. The next phase, the cocoon, or it's chrysalis for butterflies, cocooning for moths. But basically, this is where things are not as apparent. It doesn't mean that growth or development stops. It means that it may not be as obvious to others. And it's also a chance for you to remember that change sometimes goes on a little bit more slowly. I picked the Six of Swords here because it's still a card of movement. We can't always see past the surface. We don't know what's going on beneath the surface. Take some time this month to meditate. Allow yourself to also make peace with the fact that deadlines and goals, they're great, but they don't always have to be sort of met to the letter. We need to have some flexibility, in other words, because sometimes in order to grow, in order to get the most out of something, you may find that you're deviating a little bit from the plan. So give yourself time for subtle growth. Hermit energy is also associated with this, but I decided at the end of the day to do the Six of Swords because I wanted to embrace that energy, that you're still moving even if it's slower. The challenge this month is when to come out of that hermit shell, because ultimately it's all about liberation and change, as we can see here, and that's the moth phase, and that's really the main symbol that came through. So in this point of your life, you're not tethered to who you used to be. You're free to explore and discover that there's much more available to you than you maybe ever thought before. And it's really this is a chance for you to allow yourself to experience joy and prosperity and to allow things to get easier if you want them to. But death and change and transformation is that first step, and then the expansion of the world. So you may still be kind of looking, halfway in and halfway out at where you were and where you want to be. Just know that, like the moth or butterfly, you have to push through the protective sort of chrysalis or cocoon in order to get to that world energy. All right? Beautiful messages here, and I think that this month is ultimately about a path toward liberation and expansion. And what we're going to be taking a look at today is where you might either be creating that movement or feeling a little bit of friction in that movement. All right, let me go ahead now and turn the camera down, shuffle the cards, and see what's in store. Again, just a reminder, you can use this for Sun, Rising, Moon, or Venus. Welcome, everybody. It's good to see you. Let's give the cards a shuffle and see what's in store. So great to see the Eight of Pentacles showing up since we talked about that. We'll see if there's any other synchronicities as we go through the reading. All right, let's get started with your catalyst card. We have the beautiful Earth Tiger here, and look at what we've got here, breaking through the barrier. I talked a little bit about the importance of coming out of your shell, breaking through the cocoon or the chrysalis. We couldn't have a better card than this one to represent that. The tiger, of course, is representative of speed. So for those of you that might be worried about the arbitrary deadlines that I kind of alluded to a little bit in the channeled messages, this card comes through as a reminder that there'll be plenty of time later to catch up for lost, opportunities or time. It's more important to come out really comfortable with what it is that you want to show. And that's something that we didn't talk about in the beginning, but it's coming through loud and clear now, which is you get one chance to make that first impression. You get one chance to really make a memorable splash. And this card is kind of like encouraging you to take your time so that when you make that breakthrough, that you feel comfortable, that things just start to coalesce, that everything is exactly where it needs to be. So that's a beautiful first message here for the chrysalis. The grounding energy of the Earth Tiger, also a reminder that things happen one step at a time. As we just take a quick look at the overall Celtic Cross here, there's a lot to love, folks. The Wheel of Fortune and the King of Pentacles right at the center. We have some love and relationship energy here with the Knight of Cups. We have leadership. We have that Eight of Pentacles that I talked about, breaking and making cycles here as we see. Now, the only challenging card is the outcome, and this has a lot to do with, for some of you, making sure that the future partnerships are one where people are authentic. It's also about keeping your own promises, but we'll get into that in just a moment. 90% of what's here is really, really manageable and overall very good. This strikes me more as a fear or anxiety, so let's just take it one card at a time, beginning with the ever auspicious Wheel of Fortune at the center. So this is basically, as I said, the beginning of something bigger, something new, something exciting. It represents positive changes with money and abundance. Some of you are really getting comfortable, like stepping into your own, whether this is starting up your own business, talking more to your friends, your parents, your partners about money. It could be your own self-worth, which is attracting in new opportunities. But the King of Pentacles and the Wheel of Fortune are working side by side. Things are getting sort of more manageable or more easy for you to understand and feel like you can basically create and move and mold even something in the shape of whatever it is that you want it to be. So it's a great month to lead the charge when it comes to resources, money, and opportunities. Don't be afraid to ask. Definitely look up information about things. Get as informed as you can. These two cards also help one another. So the more you know, the more you can apply that. This can be both experiential sort of things like an internship, or it can be the School of Hard Knocks, just learning things the hard way. It can also be education because we learn on all sorts of different levels, but all of these things are going to create this feeling of confidence, which then attracts success and opportunity. So I really like what I see when it comes to money, wealth, personal development. If there were any sort of distractions or blocks in the past, they're not showing up right now. So this is a time to, for some of you, cyclically change things. This is a cycle. This is a new cycle. This can be a change of something. It could be realizing something, because one up from the Eight of Cups is the Nine of Cups, which is a wish fulfillment card. So if you're ready and if you believe in yourself, you can get to that final sort of destination. But let's kind of go through all of these first. We're going to begin with karmic energy and see how it might be either lifting you up or pulling you back. In the deep past, you have the Daughter of Wands or the Page of Wands in reverse. This is really inviting you to keep an open mind. So if someone comes through with an idea or a proposal and it may differ from what you expected, different doesn't have to be better or worse. It's just different. So kind of embrace all opportunities and give them a chance to sort of sit with you for a second. So keep an open mind. This can also be you being too attached to something having to show up in a certain way, shape, form, or time. And when you allow something to show up exactly in the time, way, shape, or form that it needs to, it could be there faster, it could be better, things could be more abundant than you ever thought. So the openness of mind is not just sort of to listen to criticism or things like that. It could be to recognize an opportunity that just didn't meet your initial dream or expectation, but may actually be exceeding it. This is a good thing, folks. Don't doubt your ability to take on something new either. This is just getting in your headspace. So don't overthink and try to kind of like go with things a little bit more, okay? The Page of Wands is also an innovation card. And so some of you might just be afraid of showing your idea or kind of communicating that with others. Don't be afraid. This card is typically one that shows insight, the ability to innovate, a spark of a good idea. So definitely let people know what you have to offer. As we look at the recent past, we have the Two of Swords in reverse. This is coming out of the chrysalis or the cocoon or the shell. And if we take a look at this a little closer up, this is about making sure that people are listening to you and are seeing you, and also that you're listening to yourself. This is typically shown as someone is sitting in front of two paths and they're not sure where to go. So one of the things that this card represents when reversed is the ability to just take one path, one of these swords, and say, I'm going to give this my best shot. I'm ready. I'm not second guessing myself, because sometimes no matter how much work you do or how much preparation, there comes a point where you just have to give it a try. And this is really what this is embracing. Now, when it comes to people around you, there could be people that wish that they were more acknowledged. We'll get into this when we look at relationships a little bit more, but make sure that you're saying thanks, that you're acknowledging contributions. And also, as I said just a moment earlier, if you feel like you're not being acknowledged or supported, raise your hands, make a little noise, let people hear and see what you have to offer, why they should listen, and make sure that you're moving forward with a sense of confidence, because you have a lot of leadership. We have King of Pentacles, we have Queen of Cups, we have also the King of Wands. So that's resources, that's creativity and emotions, and this is new ideas as well. So there's a lot of reasons that people can and should be engaging with your energy. Let's look at what's going on in the headspace right now. As we look at the crowning card, we have Queen of Cups. She did come through in the reverse state, however, and that means in this moment in time, your emotional and your mental health take priority. Are you open to love and relationships? Absolutely. We got the Knight of Cups matching that Queen of Cups energy. So if you're looking for love, if you're trying to expand your network, it's right there on the horizon. It's right on the in the periphery. But first things first, take care of yourself. You could be experiencing a lot of creative and intuitive sort of inspiration right now. There's just a lot going through your life and a lot that you're processing. Allow yourself to process that. Remember that the caterpillar has to go into the cocoon before he becomes the moth. So it's your moment here to just integrate. The integration piece can't be taken out of the developmental process. You can't just skip from the caterpillar straight to the moth. So at some point this month, you're going to need to slow down and take care of you. That's really all this card is about. But it is very creative, it's very intuitive, and you have an ability to be a natural channel whenever this comes through. And of course, this card represents Cancer, so you have a chance also to basically show up as being very strong this month. Once that happens, we can take this either as partnership, friendship, or an offer, but it can also be you taking things to the next level. Knights are ready to go out into the world to see, what's going on and who's interested, and they're great at networking and connecting. They're great at making change, fighting for the right things. We see here that this peacock is not exactly how you would normally anticipate it to be. So one thing that keeps coming through this month is surprises. This, even in the reverse, can be an awakening card, but there's still an element of surprise whenever Two of Swords comes through. So what do we see if we just read it as past, present, future? Well, that you're opening up, that you're more aware, but there could be a surprise with money, abundance, or opportunity. There could be a surprise in how quickly or how slowly something happens. There could be a surprise in love. And the less you think about it and the more you sort of allow your intuition and your emotions to sort of balance out and say, how do I feel and how does this sort of look from the third eye perspective? That's when everything is going to start to, the barriers are going to break down, as we saw with this, okay? It's a good time for love. It's a good time for healing. People are interested in you, your energy, what you have to offer. So get yourself balanced out first and foremost, okay? Now let's look at this, which I highlighted. So this is a beautiful synchronicity. This is how you are showing up. And this is your potential this month, 8 of Pentacles. It's a great time for personal development, for learning. We see money and finances going in the right direction. It's really important to scrutinize and look at the details of any contract. You may find that there are hidden resources. You maybe didn't know about something because it wasn't spoken or talked about, but you might find something to your benefit when you do the research. This is great for education, great for training, great for those of you that are writers out there or who might be putting together something written like a proposal, a curriculum, or even something like a patent. Whatever you're recording, whatever you're putting energy into, others are looking at it and thinking, that's of value. I like what I see, and so do I. All right, so let's see what's going on in the environment. We have the wonderful King of Wands coming through. This is innovation, this is leadership, this is someone who's looking at you and thinking, I like the way you think, I like what you have to offer. They're not afraid to show that. And they may not communicate it directly, but when you're in the presence of the King of Wands, there's never really a doubt that there's a connection. So if you feel that connection with someone, this could also be love, by the way. Some of you have multiple options when it comes to love and partnership. But anyway, when you're in the presence of a King of Wands energy, it's abundantly clear that there's a spark. It's a great time if you are looking for work or if you are looking for opportunities to get out there, because we see someone here who not only is interested, but it doesn't feel like they're going to have to beat around the bush. You're going to be very clear on this. You won't have to throw runes or cards on the table to figure out where you stand. And that is a refreshing energy to see in the environment. Remember that like attracts like, and this is often a mirror card. So again, people are looking at your own leadership ability. What you don't want to project out into the world right now is doubt, is a closed-mindedness, because that attracts what we see here. Now we're starting to see how they all connect. The Seven of Swords is someone who isn't what they appear to be. Sometimes it can be deception. Sometimes it can just be a lack of accountability. Someone who says they'll do something, but they fall short on their contracts. What you want to make sure that you're doing right now is evaluating all of your promises, all of your agreements, to make sure that you don't fall short of one. When you're interviewing or meeting new people, you're getting to know them. You're getting a good read on their energy. When you look at yourself, you also know who you are. So that way, this card can dissipate, because all cards are affected by the ones that are around them. And we see at the center a cycle, reset or reboot or something new. And here we have breaking and making cycles. Let's break the cycle of the Seven of Swords. Let's create the cycle of the Wheel of Fortune and King of Pentacles. That's really what this month is allowing you to do, is to hit the reset button. And what a great thing starts to happen once you hit that reset button. Let's look at hopes, fears, and opportunities. Some of you are just afraid of taking a break. I was talking to someone just a couple days ago about the importance of not always saying yes to things. This is someone who owns their own business like I do. And I said, when you start to value your time, people aren't going to walk away from you if you give a good product or service. They're going to know that you're more valuable now because you've decided 1 or 2 days during the month to take off and take care of yourself. It's also projecting out exactly, how people should be. You're leading by example. So take a break. Some of you are overdue for a holiday. If you have an important decision, don't make it in the moment. Give yourself an hour, a minute, or a day if you can. The longer, the better. Important decisions, typically ones that involve buying a house. Well, that goes into escrow anyway, right? But like accepting a job, accepting a proposal, it could be business or it could be marriage. You should be able to take a moment and say, let me think about this, especially if it's going to be really big changes in your life. Now, marriage proposal, usually no. But when it comes to a job, this is the one thing where you can say, let me get back to you tomorrow. It's okay to sleep. You can say, I got to talk to my partner, or I just really need to feel confident about this. I'll give you a call first thing tomorrow morning with a yes or a no. Most jobs will accept that. And it also lets them know that you're not just making a fly by the seat of your pants sort of decision. You really are going to be solid on it. When you are making big purchases, a house, a car, deciding to move from one part of the world to another, you owe it to yourself to at least give 24 hours of consideration. It will help you out. And again, if you need to take a break, a holiday, a sabbatical, this card is just coming through saying you can do it. It's one card away from wish fulfillment, and sometimes we just need to figure out who we are, how we feel, all of that before we come back and we're able to accomplish the goal or the dream that we want. Let's talk about your outcome here. The Seven of Swords is not probably anybody's favorite card to pull in a reading, but it's manageable. What does it really mean? As I said earlier, keep your promises. And if others are not keeping theirs, check in on them. Let them know that you see that they're missing them. See why it's happening, like find out. And if it's something that is due to a lack of interest or it's just someone who you can't trust, it's time to disconnect from that. But invariably, this is a card that I feel like you can overcome because we saw cyclical resets happening here. That's an old cycle. This is a new cycle. We have also just a lot of love and leadership energy that's coming through. So let's embrace those and let's break through this, which I really think is more of an emotional or a mental block. That being said, don't sign a contract if you don't understand it. Don't say yes to something if your intuition says you're not sure. And when it comes to trying to please people, it's better to say no when you know it's not possible, feasible, or right than to say yes and not be able to do it. And that's all the Seven of Swords has to teach us here in the outcome. Let's expand this and go a little deeper into health, wealth, love, and destiny. We're going to begin with the energy of health. And we've got a really interesting card coming through for health. I think this could also be connected to the Seven of Swords. Shark is exactly what it looks like. This could be someone that is kind of lurking about and is trying to catch you by surprise, but you're not going to be caught by surprise because you're watching my reading here. So this can simply be someone who, again, I feel like you can see this a mile away, but you might be sort of wishing, hoping, somehow dreaming that that person might be ready to change. If there's someone who in the past keeps disappointing you, let's just say in this moment in time, it's time to it feels like they've reached their final call here. 3 strikes and they're out. So now it's time for you to focus your time and energy on better things. The shark is also about making sure that you're looking into all of the different parts of your life to make sure that there's nothing hidden. Again, it could be a hidden opportunity. It could also be a caveat or a loophole, and it's better to know about it now than later. This is a very unusual way to read this, but this could also be the King of Cups because we're looking here at one of the apex predators of the sea being the element of water. This would be a King of Cups. So it's right on track with what we saw with the Queen of Cups in reverse, which is saying that for some of you, emotions are a little bit heavier than they have been before, and it's important to find a way to manage, to process, to release those emotions so that you can embrace the big opportunities that have been knocking here, as we can see, especially with the Wheel of Fortune, okay? And finally, there's actually a positive with this. If there's something that you want, you have a good chance of getting it here with the shark energy because as an apex predator, it usually gets its target. So this is a chance for you to accomplish something good. All right, let's go ahead now and just take a quick look at all of the cards and see how they might be applying specifically to your health. This is one of the easier cards to interpret. It's saying that you might be trying to brush something under the rug, but you know what you need to deal with. So it could just be something that's, in your body that doesn't feel right. You're going to go to the appropriate professional on this, have them look at it. This typically has to do with hearing or seeing because the blindfolds go across both. So if you're overdue for an appointment with either doctor, please take care of that. This is also an awakening card. So if this person's coming, if there's someone that's trying to get away with something, again, you're going to see it. And so this is just about making sure that if there's something that needs to be dealt with or someone that needs to be dealt with, you do it sooner than later because you have the power cards here at the center. I think the biggest thing this month is just around emotional and mental health. So if anything is kind of like causing friction in that area, that's your number one focus. The rest of this is pretty manageable, folks. Okay? But these 2 cards are about visibility and accountability. So many of you know it's time to deal with something or someone, and the sooner you do that, the sooner you can embrace all of these things here that we see. All right, let's go ahead and move on to wealth, which is resources, life purpose, and career. And we have the elder coming through. Move beyond ancestral patterns. I love this. I love this because it's good not just for your wealth, but also for your health. So if there were any patterns in your family, whether it's brother, sister, mother, father, or even beyond that into previous generations, you're breaking that. Some of you are breaking generational challenges with wealth, money, and opportunity because it's knocking right here at the center. Wheel of Fortune, King of Pentacles. We like that. This was the making and breaking of it. This is the self-doubt, which there's no more room for. So you are not your parents. You are not your grandparents. You are not your brother or sister. You are you. And so embrace your own wisdom. This is also like a hermit card. And know that you have a lot to offer the world. So embrace that, if you will. Okay, let me see now. Let's just look at this in respect to your general sort of trajectory when it comes to wealth. I like to break this down a little bit. Let's begin at where many of you are at. For those of you that might actually be working, here's what I see. It feels like some of you have decided to go back to school, or you're working on some sort of training or personal development. Yes to that, because that's directly feeding the opportunity that's starting to bubble up in the center. So it's a great time for schooling and for training. It also looks like some of you have been frustrated by the lack of acknowledgement, and it's time for you to kind of like step into the spotlight. We like that. So if you can't get what you're looking for where you're at, someone else is interested. This is very important when it comes to work, existing relationships and work, because it's someone who just isn't coming through. This might be your boss who said, oh, you're next in line for promotion, or we'll consider that raise or whatever, but they never come through. If they won't, this person will. Look around. It's a good time to look around, okay? You need to be happy with whatever it is that you're doing, and know that other people appreciate what you have to offer. So look around until you find that connection. For those of you that are just starting out, maybe a student or you're rebooting your career, the biggest sort of challenge for some of you is just deciding what it is that you want. The Two of Swords in reverse is indecisive. It's coming towards that energy of realization, but there's still a sort of self-doubt. And I think in this moment, it's important for you, again, to remember that it's time for something different. Whatever was expected of you, this isn't it. Move beyond ancestral patterns, breaking through the barrier. So whatever people have put out there as an expectation for you, that's their truth. That's their path. This is your life. This is your opportunity. And you get to decide to do something different if you want to. Okay? I think that for those that are just starting out, if there is a job option on the table, or if you're signing up for some sort of long-term, this could also be like the finances behind education. Just make sure that you understand what you're getting into. Talk to an expert, get another set of eyes on something. That's going to be key. Some of you want to travel before you get back into the work world, or if you're a student, maybe you want to study abroad a semester before starting the work field, starting out in the workforce rather. I think that's a great idea. That's something that I did. So make sure that you give yourself a time to travel if you need to, whether it's a month, a year, I don't care. This is up to you. You'll figure that out. You'll figure out the finances and the logistics as well. All right, for those that are retired, the same energy of taking a break and taking time away from everything, I think it's key. Many of you are the maternal or paternal energy that we see with the King of Pentacles, creating this stability and support for everybody. You may be a patriarch or matriarch of your family. It's exhausting to be that sometimes, to have everybody looking to you, but it's like, who sees me? So this is a chance for you to step back a little bit. Maybe you're deciding to take up something new at this point in your life. And it doesn't matter. When I say retired, it could be early retirement. Maybe some of you are really successful and you're deciding to turn a new leaf, a new corner. Whatever you want to do, it feels like education or engagement with something, hobby or otherwise, is going to be important. Travel is important. And it feels like you need some separation from people for a little bit. You may come back later and want to be that teacher or mentor, but right now you need some time to yourself. Okay? Now let's move on to love and relationships. We've kind of been skirting around that a little bit as we've been looking at some of the people here, but here's what we've got here. It says, it's safe for you to shine if we pull this in the upright position. This is very much star energy. We've got a big old star at the center, but the star is reversed. So some of you have been told to, I remember this as a kid. Keep your voice down. That was something elders would say, your grandparents or something. I remember this phrase too. Children are to be seen and not heard. That is so last century, but that was said. You know what? You're supposed to be seen. You're supposed to be heard. And I don't want you to mute your voice. I want you to be yourself. I want you to shine. And that's what this card is really embracing you to do. If someone wants you to, if they say they would only love you more if you wouldn't shine so brightly, that's a big old red flag, and that gives you the clarity to go in another direction. All right, let's look at this in 3 different perspectives. Those in love, those looking for love, those that are happily single. If you're already in love, here's what I see for you. The most important thing is being able to speak about anything that's going on. This is honesty. If the honesty is lacking, then everything else here is a house of cards. So it feels like there's something that you need to get off your chest, or your partner might need to get off their chest. Let's address that first and foremost. It feels like there's a lot of development going on here. So some of you might be right on the precipice of launching a project, or finishing, graduating, or again, just stepping into this new phase, and you want to make sure that your partner is right there with you. Talk about hopes and fears. This is fears. This is anxiety. Let's get that out in the open, because everything else is really kind of cool here. But secrets, we can't have those. Fears, they're not really serving the relationship. There may be a little bit of both that need to be dealt with. I think that loving relationships can continue to build. We have, again, like energy here. We have like energy here. I see that some of you might be dealing with a blended family. These can be 2 sets of in-laws. This can also be a partner that might have a child or another spouse in the environment. So some of you just found someone, but they also have somebody that they're attached to. So this is also about negotiating that and figuring out, especially if they share a child with someone, that's always going to be someone that's in the picture. So just have an open conversation about that. But ultimately, this card is really auspicious, and this is just about being honest. So open your heart, be communicative, and if you feel like there's something that you need to get off your chest, this is the time to do it. For those that are looking for love, it feels like some of you are really connected to work right now. And I think that it's important to finish whatever it is that you've started here in work or personal development or education first and foremost. Once that happens, it feels like someone from afar comes through. It isn't necessarily someone that you already know. This is a distance card. This is a fire sign that could be in the periphery that's coming through. But I will say this: there's almost too many cooks in the kitchen here, because we have multiple signs and multiple court cards. So typically when this comes through, even if you're single and looking, I would say give yourself a little bit of time to kind of get on your feet, finish what you set out to do, and focus on yourself first and foremost. Really, when it comes to your heart space too, just getting into a solid position, because then and only then is someone really going to come through that is clearly a match. Otherwise, we just have a lot of different types of people here. So figure out what you need to do first, who you're looking for, and if you truly have the time to commit to this, because this is checking the commitment and the preparedness. And if you're ready, then I see multiple options here, okay? If you're single and happy, it's probably the best time to be single and happy. I see training and education and thought expansion being the main thing this month. And you have the great ability to lead and attract people through that leadership and travel a bit too. But it feels like it's on the heels of work or education that is coming through. You're not alone this month. There's a lot of different people, but the purpose this month is about development, learning, and expansion. Okay? Now let's take a look at your destiny card. We have charity here. The card was reversed, but let's look at it upright. It says prayer and contemplation, connect with heaven, ask and you shall receive. This is also about giving back too. I mentioned that we have this beautiful leadership card here. This is also super paternal and a really good teacher. So some of you may be at a point where you're like, I worked hard to get here, and I remember how hard it was to get to this point, and I want to give back a little bit. Perfect. This is a great chance for you to do that. If you need help, don't be afraid to ask for help, because invariably with all of these people cards that we saw here, you can get assistance. We have assistance in leadership. We have assistance in resources. We have creative resources coming through as well. We have love and friendship. So the hardest thing for some of you may just be to put out your hand and say, I need some help, or I could use some support. Be clear and be grateful, and then give back if you can. Pay it forward if you have a little bit extra to give. It's a pretty nice card, actually, to look at there. All right, let's go ahead now, and we just finished the expanded forecast, so now let's move on to sun, rising, and moon sign messages, and we'll see what Spirit has to say. All right, so sun, rising, and moon. Let's get started here with the sun sign messages. We have the Ace of Wands in reverse. So many things to talk about here. The first actually that strikes me is, how is your energy and your vitality? How are you feeling when you get up in the morning? Are some of you feeling a little bit exhausted? If so, this card is representative of that, and it's saying all that stuff that we were talking about when it came to just general emotional happiness and well-being, it's coming through here. It's a mind-body-spirit connection. So once you allow yourself to feel and process and go through what you need to, then suddenly you're going to start to feel that vitality come back. This is also an encouragement from Spirit to talk to your doctor about exercise, to try different things when it comes to diet and sleep schedule, because all of those things affect your vitality as well. This is also a card of innovation, and so many of you might be feeling like there was a block before, but remember what we saw here, breaking through the barrier. So this is about simply starting this month off, at least because you saw this video, with the expectation that Nicholas said, I'm going to be able to get through this block. I'm going to stay open-minded. I'm going to give it a shot. Lo and behold, things start to open up. Sometimes just believing that the block is gone will allow you to get past the block. I know it sounds easy, but just try it. Just give it a shot. Each day is a reset. And even if you think, like that little worm or like the little caterpillar, that I'm just going to take a step closer to the goal today, and who knows where I might be tomorrow, just stay open-minded, okay? This is also a card of reconnecting with what makes you passionate. So just like it can be your vitality, it can also be passion, libido, and just general sort of connection to something. So this is a chance to rekindle all of the things in your life that create that sense of passion, and to understand that it's important to be excited and passionate and engaged with something in your life. It can be education, learning. It could be a person in your life that you really like. It could also be this sense that you're just finally coming out of your shell and being exactly the person that you always wanted to be. Whatever it is that gets you excited when you wake up, feeling like today's a day that's worth it, today's something that I want to do, that level of engagement, that's what I want you to focus on. This is also an opportunity that's knocking, that is unexpected, that is unconventional. And one of the things that this sort of monthly reading that wants to kind of impart on you is a surprise could be good. A change could be good. Embrace it. It may not be what is expected, but it might be exactly what you need. As we take a look here at your rising message, we have the moon card, and it's a beautiful illustration and sort of reinterpretation of the card. So here we actually see the parting of the sea, someone being able to walk across, creating a path that didn't exist before. So even if something is unimaginable, unfathomable for someone else, you have this sort of ability, almost like it's magic, to create something this month that didn't exist. This is why I'm really encouraging all of you to stay open-minded to a surprise or something unexpected. Breaking through the barrier, and here we see someone walking through what would normally be a block or a barrier. And also the moon can represent going towards something that used to create sort of butterflies. Here we go with the sort of transformational energy, but butterflies are a block, and it's saying, I'm different now, so this isn't going to present the same block, fear, or anxiety that it used to. So face your fears, face your dreams, embrace your hopes, and see if you can't cross the finish line, because it really looks like you can this month, and that is exciting. It's a really good energy to also be here coming through for you, because the moon is a symbol of being able to rein in your emotion, of being able to pull in opportunities. So you have that potential this month, should you choose to do so. All right, now let's take a look at the energy for the moon. We have the Hanged Man. Notice how if you look at it from a distance, you can see the symbol of immortality, the Ankh, power and immortality. And it's saying that You are exactly where you need to be. Again, you may not be where you want to be, but you're being asked in this moment in time to slow down and look at something from a different perspective. The Hanged Man is also trying to help you avoid a misstep. So whether that is, making a mistake in business or maybe in health or maybe in a relationship, if you slow down for a moment and reconsider what's going on or look a little closer at something, you can recognize this individual long before you ever have to worry about it. You can avoid repeating a cycle from the past. And we can see the beautiful halo around her head. This is always a sign of enlightenment. And it's saying, slow down just one more moment here and really drink in everything that this experience has to offer so that you can start this next journey or this next chapter fully on board, really, really ready, really aware as well. So pretty good across the board. When we look at all three of these, there's an interesting message that comes through. Self-care is going to help you with innovation, with also being able to be aware of opportunities that are knocking. You're more capable than you may give yourself credit for. And it may not happen immediately, but when something does, it's something that will last. So whether you're trying to manifest wealth, abundance, a relationship, any of that, once it actually comes through, it's worth the wait, folks, okay? I'm sure you have at least one more question. This is the point in the reading that you can silently meditate on that question, and I will pull a card and see what Spirit has to say. I love this deck, but it doesn't leave me a lot of room to shuffle, so let me just make a little room, and let's see what the answer is to your question. Okay, we have an auspicious card here with the Eight of Wands. This is showing that things are starting to move in the right direction. The only caution, because it came through in the reverse state, is don't get lost in the shuffle. Don't fill up your schedule to the point that there is no downtime. Give yourself a little bit of extra space to breathe, to think, to dream. Remember that this is also a card where there's a lot of people around you that can help. All of these wands that are in flight are being sort of like generated by other people. And in some decks, you'll actually see a community aspect to this. So if she slows down for a minute and talks to others, connects with others, we can even get to that 10 of Wands moment faster. Okay? Stay focused, stay positive, and remember here, we also saw it with the charity one, don't be afraid to reach out, help others, or ask for help if you need it. And that, my friends, is everything. Some of you may be asking me right now, is this a yes or no? It's a yes card. The only caveat with this is not to be overly busy. I was listening to someone talk the other day about the difference between like a trip and a holiday. A holiday is a chance for you to relax, enjoy the culture, enjoy the food, do it at a somewhat leisurely pace. A trip is when you try to see everything you can, but you're exhausted and you leave the trip needing a holiday or vacation. Give yourself a chance to drink in the moment. Don't rush through. This isn't something where an itinerary has to be met each and every step of the journey, okay? And that is everything that I have to say for today. I hope you enjoyed this. Please, if you did and you're brand new, hit the subscribe button and also opt into all notifications using that bell icon. If you're a longtime viewer, give me one thumbs up to let me know that this was a video that you enjoyed. It also helps other people find it. You can also follow me across social media so you never miss out on a future video just like this. And if you want to show a little love and support, you can do so with a super sticker, super chat, or super thanks. I also have memberships here. All of these are great ways to give back. Quick reminder, I do not offer any private readings. Time and again, I see different profiles popping up that pretend to be me. So if someone direct messages you and offers you something or asks for something or asks for money, big old red flag, that isn't me. Block them, report them, and put a note in the comments so that I can find them. If you ever need to find out more about me or see what my official social handles are, you can go to my website, nicholasashbaugh.com. It's also in my main channel page. And that, my friends, is everything for today. Thank you so much. I drop new videos every Monday, Thursday, and Friday. I also have daily videos that you can check out, and I go live every single Sunday. So if that's something that you would like to drop in on, I'd love to see you. It's 9 a.m. Pacific time every Sunday. Wishing you all the best now and always. Take care of yourselves, and I hope to see you soon.